about two books that have come out in a series, which is also a new series. So it's going to be a mixture also to talk about the series and then also talk about those two books. And I'm going to start with this one, which is written by Tim Bartlett and Jenny Setchell, who can't be here themselves. They're from Canada and from Australia. But the text that I'm going to read out is written by them. And this is the fourth book or the third? Well, it doesn't matter. It came out almost at the same time. And so I say a little bit about the series, and then you get a bit of a sense of not only the book itself, but also the series. So I'm going to start with this one, and then go on. So this is by Tim and by Jenny. The edge of things is a place of enchantment, uncertainty, and mystery. The threshold between dreaming and waking, the haunting twilight between day and night, when previously crisp forms lose their clarity, or the outskirts of town, where abandoned lots meet the tree line of the forest. In ecology, the coming together of two ecosystems produces an edge effect, or a zone of tension, with a high concentration and diversity of wildlife and vegetation. Bartlett and Setchell are far from being ecologists, but find the phenomenon of edge effects to be a compelling figuration for thinking about the creativity that can emerge when different things come together. Throughout edge entanglements, Bartlett and Setchell pursue transverse lines that zigzag at the interface of theory, method, theory, practice, health, illness, sanity, insanity, and practitioner, client. They seek to trouble lines of segmentation, erode distinctions, and play the in-between of freely given relationships between psychiatrists, people, and community allies. Edge entanglements with mental health allyship, research, and practice traverses the borderlands of the community mental health sector by plugging in to concepts offered by Gilles Deleuze and Felix Guattari, along with work from MAD studies, post-colonial and feminist scholars. Thinking with theory, Bartlett and Setchell map the composition and generative processes in the relationships of four pairs of people. Edge entanglement services how such relationships can unsettle constraints of the mental health sector and produce creative possibilities for psychiatrized people. Affectionately creating harmonies between theory and empirical data, the authors sketch ally relationships in ways that move. Allyship is enacted through micro-political processes of becoming complicit. Ongoing movement towards taking on the struggle of another as your own. Mindful of how dominant mental health systems swirl and capture people with diverse experiences of trauma and distress in sometimes oppressive programs and treatment, Bartlett and Setchell seek to vigilantly explore movements that unsettle and break away from habitual patterns in the mental health sector. You might be wondering, how can this person ever be a movement? The entanglements discussed in the book are at the edge of playful and unplayful worlds. The designs bound up in edge entanglements are for a world yet to come, where spaces are not cramped, where friends don't need to be allies, where people are not categorically ordered according to their value, where people experiencing distress have a place to go where they loved. Bartlett and Setchell's work offers both conceptual and practical insights into post-qualitative experimentation, relationship-oriented mental health practice, and citizen activism that unsettles disciplinary boundaries. Ongoing disruptive movements on the margins of the mental health sector, such as freely given relationships, offer opportunities to do otherwise. Edge Entanglements is for people whose lives and practices are precariously interconnected with the mental health sector and are interested in doing things differently. This book is likely to be useful for novice and established applied new material and are posthumanist scholars interested in post-qualitative theo-driven research, health practitioners seeking alternative or radical approaches to their work, and people interested in citizen advocacy, activism, and community organizing in, out of the mental health sector. So just publicly, I would like to congratulate Tim and Jenny for this marvelous book, and so incredibly needed, especially at this time, really, precarious time in which we live. So this is the book, and I think, I know you were going to pass some of them around for people to have a look at, weren't you? Actually, this one is my own copy, but you can just pass it around that way. Okay, thank you for that. And so now, like Tim and Jenny's book, I'm going to talk about this book. It's called In Conversation with Karin, Doings of Agential Realism. So Viv, Bozalek and myself are going to talk about this book. So we are the editors of this book, co-editors, but we're also authors of the chapters in this book and the introduction. It can also already go around, actually. Okay, so like Tim and Jenny's book, this edited collection is part of a series that started as a getting together of post-qualitative researchers globally who wanted to develop course materials and books that are accessible to researchers new or relatively new to this field. Often alone in their institutions, there is a clear need to support students and supervisors. So we approached Routledge in 2019, and our proposal for a new series was met with great enthusiasm and fabulous support by Matt Bickerton and especially Hannah Shakespeare, who was responsible for research methods at the time. And I can't, more highly recommend Routledge actually as an author and as an editor. We put in a proposal for the series, which was sent for review. Well, and the rest, as they say, is history. We have since published 4 books and signed 11 contracts, so watch this space. We set up a website that offers multimodal support to complement the books in this series. And it's called postqualitativeresearch.com. We actually couldn't believe it was still available, so amazing. It is now also the site of a research project funded by the National Research Foundation of South Africa. So we are researching the setting up of resource material for an online course, which of course does not, and neither are the books, doesn't replace, or supposed to replace, reading the primary sources like Deleuze and Guattari or Spinoza, Karin, Whitehead, and all of that. So it's not that this is a quick method to not having to engage with these people, these authors, these ideas, these philosophies, because they're just so important to engage with. Well, crucial. It's also for this reason, as a way of engaging with those complex texts, that as part of other NRF-funded projects, we started slow reading groups, the 2 of us. In 2013, although its funding has finished, these reading groups are still gaining momentum. So we started it, but it just got an energy and it's run actually at the very same time now on its own, so without us. We run 3 different reading groups each week and keep in touch via WhatsApp, managed by a research assistant, a wonderful George Rowling. Our readings are slow, communal, and inquiry-based. Supervisors and students together grapple and struggle with the readings on equal footing. So why is this important? It's all really entangled in the production of these books, and as will become clear, especially with this book, In Conversation with Karin. It engages, that book, from multiple entry points with a 2-day research seminar in 2017 in Cape Town, The event was organised by the Decolonising Early Childhood Discourses project. And Karin, as distinguished professor at the University of Santa Cruz in California, is also a member of this project. Karin, by the way, self-identifies as they, so when I say they, or what follows, then I refer to Karin. They have also listened in to some of our reading group meetings when it was still live streamed on our Facebook page, and they might, at the moment, be listening in too. Karin travelled to the Western Cape to play a major role in a research seminar where they presented 2 papers from the then recent work on spatial and temporal refraction. Emerging researchers, including Viv's and my own PhD students, also had the opportunity to present their own posthumanist research. The book documents and provides a forum for the participants to return to their presentations and consider how Karin's work has continued to influence their research endeavours. Although drawing on posthumanist research in the South, the book is of primary interest to those who wish to pursue agential realist philosophy in their own scholarship and to use the book as a research for their own teaching. That's why chapters include many images and refer to YouTube links, transcripts and photographs that will be uploaded on the book series website. So the book series itself always comes with this other support, another dimension, as it were, with the website, which has been especially set up to support the series. And I'll now hand over to Viv.
And I'll talk a little more about the book itself. So Karin Berard's agential realism is rapidly gaining traction across higher education. And we're aware that research inspired by agential realism can be challenging and difficult to access. So in this book, we really wanted to provide accessible ways of engaging with agential realism through responses to informal conversations with Karin Berard that are diffractively woven through the chapters. It's important for us that a large quantity of the text is written by postgraduate students, whose chapters offer examples of agential realism's use in various contexts and disciplinary backgrounds. The book thus provides an opportunity for emerging and more established scholars to show how such an event could have ongoing rippling effects on their work and thinking. The book is also written to inspire alternative pedagogies and ways of organizing research seminars, which we tried to do at that time, more in line with its philosophy, a doing of posthumanism in the organizing of events. More particularly, the book provides fresh insights into complex and contentious concepts, such as temporal and spatial diffraction, the void, agential separation, entanglement, decolonization, in accessible ways for readers to think with and be affected by. Karin has introduced new performative concepts for traversing the social and natural sciences, creative arts, humanities, technology, the environmental humanities, etc., in transdisciplinary ways. The chapters in the book focus on the pedagogy that happened at the event with Karin Berard, the use of diffractive methodology for travel hopping, remembering apartheid childhoods, and the concurrent effects of apartheid violences in preschool education, relationality and the blurring of boundaries between the research and everyday life as worldly practices, encounters of loss and extinction along the shores of the Atlantic Ocean on the South African west coast, shadowed places of haunted violent legacies of exploitation and indifference, the legacy of South African colonialism and apartheid on disciplines such as geomatics and obstetrics, and the decolonizing use of student subjugated knowledges as a response to this. A chapter on diffractive architectural drawing, focusing on a rock-hewn church in Lalibela, Ethiopia, and another on how making processes such as sewing, stitching, and threading might be conceived as conceptual practices that activate pedagogical encounters, becoming with knowledge as material mattering. All authors were asked to give their chapter a color rather than numbering it. Their chosen colour has been used in their titles. It's a serious yet playful disruption of numbering and how numbers work to produce linear reading practices. The chapters can be read in any order, although our ordering, our gential cut, was not random and affirms that they are always already in relation to each other. And we wanted to thank Roseanne Reynolds, Walter Cohn, Teresa Giosa, Joanne Pierce, Adrian van Eden Wharton, Patrick Rivers, Karin Wood, and Nikki Romano for their thoughtful contributions to the book. And we're going to be presenting more about the book and specifically our own chapter on how temporal diffraction, as explored in conversation with Karin during the seminar, has affected our research practices and those of our colleagues and postgraduate students after this launch, in case you want to get more details of that.